The NBA offseason is already underway, and the NBA Finals hasn't even started yet. We're going to break it all down. Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video. I know a bunch of y'all thought, some of the people that watched, that I wasn't going to actually start uploading consistently. Well, I uploaded on what? Monday, and now I'm uploading again on Wednesday. So, or maybe that was Sunday night, I think. Either way, I said there would be a video by the end of this week. I guess this is Wednesday, so it's not really the end of the week, middle of the week. So maybe we'll have 3 uploads this week. That's crazy, because I didn't expect this to happen. We were just going to do an NBA Finals video, and this is not an NBA Finals video. We're going to be talking about 2 things, a hiring and a firing. The firing of Tom Thibodeau and the hiring of Jordan Ott as the next Suns head coach. And the first thing we're going to go straight into the Knicks relieving their duties, or Tom Thibodeau relieving his duties from the New York Knicks, a.k.a. fired. There's people on 2 different sides of this. And the first side of the Tom Thibodeau thing is that why would you just fire someone who brought your team to the Eastern Conference Finals and y'all haven't been there in over 30 years or 25 years? And then the other side is, yeah, this was the right hire. The Knicks couldn't get above the hump. They couldn't get to the finals. They lost to a Pacers team that is way worse than them talent-wise. He got outcoached in the Eastern Conference Finals by Rick Carlisle. This is the right move. And my opinion on this is that side. And I love Tom Thibodeau. I love everything he does. I think that he is a great coach. But he wasn't the right coach for the Knicks. And the way he coaches is going to have to change in general. I think he's a great coach. But the main thing for the Knicks was that he ran his guys into the ground. Josh Hart wanted to be moved to the bench. He went and talked to the assistant coaches before even talking to Thibodeau, and then they eventually moved him to the bench. Mikal Bridges, halfway throughout the season, who is the Iron Man of the NBA, who has played every single game of his NBA career, asked for less minutes on this team. He didn't trust his bench enough. He played an 8-man rotation the entire year. Eventually, guys are going to burn out. He did better in the playoffs with giving minutes to like DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet, who got no minutes throughout the regular season. But eventually, guys are going to burn out, and guys aren't going to be able to go this long, and I think that was the main thing. And he also got out-coached in the playoffs. The Knicks were there because, we can say first round, they honestly, it was a little scary in the first round. They maybe shouldn't have won that series against the Pistons. Pistons might have played better than them. That's an opinionated take, but I think the Pistons might have played better. So they get out of that round, and they go to a Celtics team who they got destroyed the first 2 games about 42 minutes of that game, and they were able to win them. But he got severely outcoached by Joe Mazzulla, and then Tatum goes down in the next win. And then you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and Rick Carlisle destroyed him by running and playing the bench guys, going to an 11, 12-man rotation when the Knicks just don't have the gas to keep up. And that was a lot on Thibodeau. And that was, I think Thibodeau is a great coach. I will keep saying that, but I don't think he was the right guy for the Knicks. I actually think it's I think it's a good decision by the New York Knicks, because this roster right now, in my opinion, there's nothing to blow up. It got you to the Eastern Conference Finals, but you didn't get to the finals. So there's something there, and sometimes that's on the coach. And there's a lot of people in the NBA world and NBA fans in general that get annoyed with this job carousel thing. And in my opinion, I'm a little indifferent on that. I think the job carousel is a big deal. I think the coach matters more than a lot of people think. Now, sometimes in the case of teams like, you can say LA, but I think they find J.J. Redick. You can say the Suns, who are now on their, 4th head coach in the last 4 years? So that maybe is not as good. But the Knicks, knowing that this roster is good enough to do it, if you put the right coach behind it, I think they can win the NBA Finals. So Thibs, great coach. but just wasn't the right guy for this job. And this was kind of his ceiling, I think. I don't think he could have brought the Knicks any farther than he did. So I guess we can get into who we think could be hired for the Knicks job. My number one option was going to get Danny Hurley from UConn. And a lot of people said he's not ready for the NBA. He's not ready for that next step up. Danny Hurley would do a extremely great job in New York. And I think he didn't take the LA job. It was so far away. New York is right there. I don't think he would take the job, but I think he'd do a really good job at it. My next was Mike Malone from Denver, or not Denver anymore, got fired from Denver for, there wasn't many great reasons why he got fired. I think Mike Malone is a much better coach than Tom Thibodeau. I think he would get really good bench production out of the guys. I think that should be the number one guy on their list. My third is Johnny Bryant, who is the guy I wanted the Suns to hire. He is one of the top assistants on the Cavs, including Jordan Ott. Jeff Van Gundy from the Clippers would be my fourth option. He just knows the game of basketball so well. He's been in this head coaching race for a long time in the past couple of years. So I think he has a shot. My fifth is Taylor Jenkins, who was fired from the Grizzlies when they were on pace to have a 50-win season. Got fired kind of for no reason, honestly. And then they kind of started sloping down after he got fired. Chris Quinn from the Heat, probably not going to happen, but I think he's a very good coach. He was in the race for the Suns job. And then the last one is Jay Wright, who a lot of people on NBA social media want to see go to New York because of that Villanova connection. He's probably one of the best head coaches of the modern decade. I don't know if he'd come back to coaching. Obviously, he's doing his analyst stuff right now. I don't know if he'd come back. Maybe he would for this Knicks team, but he would also be at the top of the list if he's willing to do it. I think he'd come in and be one of the best coaches in the NBA immediately. So Jay Wright, I think he's a long shot, but I think he could be cool. And besides that, it was a controversial move from the Knicks, a shocking move from the Knicks, but in my humble opinion, I think it is the right move moving forward with this Knicks franchise because they're finally getting the city of New York and the fans back involved. And they, in my opinion, they're like, hey, let's go win now. Let's go win it all next year. And I think as a Knicks fan, if you are a Knicks fan, you should be happy with what the Knicks are doing. They are trying to win an NBA championship. I believe they are making the right moves to do so. You can agree or disagree, but for the Knicks head coaching job, Danny Hurley would be a number one option, then Mike Malone. So that's really all I got to say about the Knicks. The next is the Suns. They made a hire, I guess this was early today, early Wednesday morning. They decided to hire Jordan Ott, one of the head assistants for the Cleveland Cavaliers. As a Suns fan, I hate to admit it, but I did want Johnny Bryant on this team. There's a lot of speculation from Suns fans and people in the front office that they're hiring this guy because he has these Michigan State ties, which is what Ishbia hired with the new GM, and what Matt Ishbia, if you don't know, that's the owner of the Suns, is doing a lot of moves to put some of his just Michigan State guys or his friends into these roles that maybe they shouldn't be in. But in my opinion, I'm gonna agree with the hire. I'm gonna let this one work itself out. Remember, Phoenix they have gone with these old washed up coaches since they fired Monty Williams. They went with Frank Vogel, who is just he's a good coach, but he's not the right coach for this Suns team. They then went to Mike Budenholzer, who I don't think was a horrible hire in the moment, but as it played itself out in the season, he was not a good hire whatsoever. Mike Budenholzer, I like him. I don't think he's that good of a coach. I just, seeing what I saw this season as a Suns fan, he's really not. He screws up rotations. He doesn't change things when things need to be changed. He had Giannis Antetokounmpo at that point was the best player in the world. That's why he won a championship in 2021. I don't think it was much of his coaching. But now they go young. And I think Jordan Ott, I believe, is 38 years old, maybe even younger. And that's great for this Suns franchise. You need a young coach to come in. And the reason I'm sticking with it is because Devin Booker was in those interviews for the top 5 candidates. He was in the interviews, and they hired Jordan Ott. A lot of what Booker wanted. He liked this guy. So with the thing that Kevin Durant most likely will be moved before the NBA draft and in the NBA offseason, I like that they're saying, hey, Book, you're our guy. Who do you want? And if Book trusted this guy, I'm going to trust him as well. It's going to be an interesting thing for a young guy having to come into this kind of broken Suns team. Truly, they're cap held. They still have Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant on the roster. I don't know what's going to happen with Bradley Beal. Most likely Kevin Durant is moved in the offseason. It's not that they want to move him, but it's the only thing that they really can do. So depending on what the roster looks like when Jordan Ott is coming in, there's going to be a lot of things to figure out. I hope he lays the hammer, and I hope he says, hey, if you want to play, you have to hustle, because that's some stuff for the Suns that we didn't see. It was a lot of just isolation basketball, not good passing, and a lot of dumb shots and no hustling. So that's one thing that I think he needs to bring culture-wise. He's got to bring some culture for sure, because Phoenix right now, since Monty Williams, is busted of that. Since Chris Paul, they don't really have much. They don't have that leader on the team. Kevin Durant, he's kind of just a solo guy, and Kevin Durant's my favorite player of all time. Has been since 2014? He's been my favorite player. But he's not like a leader. Booker, not really a leader, right? And Chris Paul was kind of that veteran leadership. So Jordan Ott's going to have to bring some of that leadership as well. As a young coach, it's going to be hard with this roster. But I think he can figure it out. And I think Book being in those interviews is a really, really big deal. So for the Suns, I think it's a better move than what they've done the past 2 off seasons with Frank Vogel and Budenholzer. They went younger. They went smarter. And they're also hiring a guy from the Coach of the Year staff, Kenny Atkinson. So Kenny Atkinson handpicked this guy at the beginning of the year, and now he's getting a head coaching job. He was also in the race, I believe, for the Hornets job last summer. Obviously didn't win it. But I do think it's a good move from the Suns. I do think it's a good move from the Knicks. We'll have to see how everything plays out. Maybe I'll post a short on something when the Knicks do hire their guy. I expect that to be done in the next week. An NBA Finals video will most likely come out maybe the day after Game 1, which is tomorrow. So maybe on Friday we'll have another video out. But Tom Thibodeau fired. Sent some shockwaves to the NBA world a couple days ago, or yesterday. And Jordan Ott hired, a new young coach, getting a chance. I appreciate y'all for watching. This was a fun video to do. I don't do much coach stuff. I did a little bit of notes this time, but we're going to keep getting better and better. And going into the NBA draft, look out for a lot of NBA draft videos, because I've been really locked into NBA draft, college basketball. So it's going to be fun. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.